everyone, I'm Melissa here and welcome to your Melissa Moment. Hello everyone, I'm Melissa here. Welcome to your Melissa Moment and welcome to Try It Thursday. Today we are going to be making a homemade Hungarian mushroom soup. And I thought I'd bring you guys along to try out this recipe. So this recipe I think came across my Facebook or something like that. Found it on Pinterest. I just have a whole bunch of mushrooms that I bought from Costco that I need to use up. I'm the only one that really seems to like them. And I'm like, how am I going to use up all these mushrooms? And I'm like, hey, homemade mushroom soup. Number one, I love soup. I love mushroom soup. So what better way to do it? So as I said, this is called a Hungarian mushroom soup. It serves 4 people. It says it takes 30 minutes to cook. Prep time is 15 minutes. So we're looking at 45 minutes total is what it says. I'm just going to go over the ingredients real quick, and then we'll just start into our cooking, okay? So what we're going to need is 4 tablespoons of salted butter, 1 large yellow onion chopped, 1 pound of cremini mushrooms. I have no idea. This is mini Bella's. I'm assuming it's close to the same. I don't know how much a pound is. This is 24 ounces, so we'll have to figure that out. 2 cups of chicken or vegetable stock, half a cup dry white wine. I don't have dry white wine, so I'm going to just omit that. 2 teaspoons dried dill, 2 teaspoons minced fresh thyme leaves. I don't have fresh. I'm just going to use dried. 2 teaspoons paprika, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. No one ever says it right. Don't judge me. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of whole milk. Again, don't have whole milk. 1/4 cup of sour cream, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and 2 tablespoons of parsley. So let's jump into this and start cooking. All right, I'm going to kind of move you a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to start by melting the butter in a large pot. And then once the butter's melted, we're going to add in the onions and mushrooms. So we're going to put 4 tablespoons of salted butter into here to melt, and we're going to chop 1 large yellow onion. We're going to start there. So let me move you so you can kind of see what's happening here. I want you kind of to see everything. So there we go. So we're going to turn the pot on to medium heat. See my brand new butter dish I got, the white marble one. I love it. It's beautiful. So we're going to put 4 tablespoons in here. I'm just going to I'm not necessarily going to measure this out. I'm just going to kind of, you know, eyeball it. So we can do that. We'll say that's about 4 tablespoons of our butter. So move that out of the way. Now it says 1 large onion. My onions are pretty small, so I'm going to do 2 of them. I always hate cutting onions because I cry so much. It's just what happens to me. I know that there's tips and tricks to stop tears. I also have a Tupperware chopper that I probably should be using because it makes it easier, but you know, it's fine. Everything's fine. Now, I've never made this before. I have made mushroom soup before, but I just threw stuff together. I didn't actually follow a recipe. It actually turned out really good. I was quite surprised because, like I said, I just threw stuff together. Sometimes I do that. And sometimes it works out. Most times it works out, actually, I would say. I would say most times. I'm definitely not the best cook out there, but I'm also not the worst. So, you know. Okay, so we're just going to chop our onions. It doesn't say how thick or how thin to chop, so I'm just going to do my own thing here and see what happens, I guess. So I don't know. Since I'm probably the only one eating this soup, I don't think it's gonna matter. It's just basically, you know, what I want to eat. So we're just gonna kind of do a rough chop on them, nothing crazy. I also am a big fan of onions, so I like a lot of onions. We'll probably fast forward through some of this because you guys don't need to see me just constantly chopping everything up. The butter's nice and melty. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. So there's my onions. The butter's all kind of melty in here now. You can't really tell, but trust me, it is. So we're going to put the onions in. Okay, now I'm going to give those a little stir. And then I'm going to wash and slice my mushrooms. Now it says a pound. Mushrooms sliced. Alexa, how many ounces of mushrooms in a pound?
1 pound of mushrooms is 16 ounces.
Okay, perfect. So 1 pound of mushrooms is 16 ounces. We have 24 ounces here. So we probably want to use about 2/3 of our pack of mushrooms. So we can do that. 2/3. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to take them all out and figure out how much 2/3 would be. Because I don't actually know. My battery died, but that's okay. You didn't miss anything. We're just trying to figure out how much a pound of mushrooms was. And I determined that it's about 16 ounces or about 16 mushrooms. So we have our mushrooms here, about 16 of them. I have washed them just to get the dirt off. We're just going to slice them now. So again, it doesn't really say how to slice them, like how thick we want them. I'm just going to slice them how I would for myself, because I'm probably going to be the only one really enjoying this soup. I mean, my husband also really likes mushroom soup, but he's out of town right now, so I don't know if he's actually going to be able to enjoy any of this. He does get back tomorrow, though, so yeah, there'll be leftovers. Okay, so I'm going to throw the mushrooms as I cut them in with the onions. And we're just going to give that a little stir. You guys, these onions smell so good. I don't know about you, but like I love the smell of like onions and garlic. Ooh, it doesn't call for garlic, but should I put some garlic in here? No. We'll stick with the recipe. Usually when I try recipes for the first time, I usually try to do the recipe as they've told you to. And then if I like it enough to try it again, then on the second attempt, I'll kind of make a few modifications or add in my own little personal touch. Now, with that said, I don't have dry white wine. I do have a white wine, but it's more of a dessert wine, so that's not really going to give us the desired effect of what we're looking for, I don't think. So that's fine. I probably should make these a little smaller. That's okay. Should I cut these smaller? Maybe I'll cut these a little smaller. This one was a little big. Don't forget, mushrooms do shrink. If you don't cook with mushrooms that often, they will shrink. Now here's the other thing. This is supposed to be cremini mushrooms, but these are baby bellas, which are probably bigger than cremini mushrooms. So you might not need 16 of them, but that's okay. They'll cook down. So I'm just doing like a really rough chop on these. I'm not really too concerned, you know. Okay. Mushrooms, the rest of them in there. Those will cook down. Give it another little stir. Okay. Let's go back to the recipe. What does it say? Okay, so it says, melt butter in the large pot over medium heat. When the butter is melted, add onions and mushrooms. Cook, stirring occasionally until onions are soft and translucent, about 8 minutes. Then add the stock, white wine, dill, thyme, paprika, Worcestershire sauce, and salt. Bring to a boil over high heat. Reduce to a simmer over low heat and cook. Stirring occasionally until the liquid reduces by a third, approximately 10 minutes. So we're almost at that stage. I'm just going to let these mushrooms just get a little softer. So now we're going to do the stock all the way to the salt. Now it also says 2 cups of stock, but I think I've got more mushrooms than recommended based on the mushrooms I have. I also don't have the dry wine, which they want half a cup. So I think I'm going to start by putting 3 cups of stock in and go from there. Just so you guys can kind of see what we're dealing with here. There's our mushrooms and our onions. Getting nice and soft. Okay, I'm just going to move you up a little bit more. Okay, so for stock, I'm going to be using the pho broth. This is from Campbell's. I discovered this when I was prepping for bariatric surgery, and I was only allowed to have broths. I tried so many different broths. They all suck. This one was actually the only one that was really good. It's got a lot of flavor in it, which I really enjoy. So let's, like I said, we're going to start by doing 3 cups of this. They call for 2. Well, they call for 2, and the mushrooms are going to give us a lot of liquid. So maybe, okay, let's put 2 in and see what happens. 1, 2. Let's see, do I want to leave it at 2? I'm going to put a half in because they wanted half white wine, which I don't have. So we're going to put half. So there's 2.5 of stock. We can always add more if we feel we need it. They want 2 teaspoons of dried dill, which I don't have. So we're going to skip the dill. We want 2 teaspoons of thyme. That's my thyme. 2 teaspoons. 1, 2. So that's the thyme. We also want 2 teaspoons of paprika. Paprika. 1, 2. Paprika. And 2 tablespoons of, well, let's do a teaspoon of salt. So these are my new salt and pepper shakers. They said a teaspoon, but it's a grinder, so I'm just going to add in some salt. You can always adjust it later. And then they want 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I never say it right. That's fine. 2 tablespoons of this. Now, this I purchased from the Dollar Tree. And you have to be careful because a lot of Worcestershire sauce is not vegetarian or vegan. This one is vegetarian, thankfully. So there we go. 2 tablespoons. 1. What does it smell like? Ooh, a little spicy, but I like it. 2. Now, do I have to keep this in the fridge now that I've opened it? Do you guys know? Does it stay in the fridge? Yep, refrigerate after opening. Perfect. So I can go in the fridge. Give this a little stir here. That looks pretty good with the liquid. Show you guys what it looks like. All the liquid in there. Okay. It smells good. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, next step. Okay, so we got all that stuff in there. Bring to a boil over high heat. So let's turn that baby up to high. Bring it to a boil, and then we're going to bring it down to a simmer over low heat for about 10 minutes. You want that liquid to reduce, it says. Okay, so let's do that. Now, while that's doing its thing, we're going to move on to the next step. In a small bowl, they want us to whisk the flour into the milk mixture until smooth. Okay, and then we're going to put the milk mixture into the soup and then cook. So I'm just going to pause here for a second. I'm just going to clean up a little bit here, and then we'll come back and we'll do the flour together, okay, while this thing cooks. So we're going to bring it to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer. Okay, I'll be back in just a second, you guys. Okay, guys, so everything's boiling here. We're going to reduce that down to a simmer, which is just on to low. We're going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes. We just want that liquid to reduce by about 1/3. While that's doing its thing, we're going to get our milk ready. Now, they want us to use whole milk. I don't, because I'm, vegetarian, so I have silk, like soy milk. So I'm actually going to make it a buttermilk because it's a little thicker than regular milk, and whole milk is also a little thicker. So I hope I have enough because I'm running out. I forgot. I knew there was something I had to do today, and it was buy milk, and I forgot. So they want a cup of milk. So let's see if we have enough. Oh, okay. We have just enough. There's a little left, like a tablespoon. So we're going to start by making a cup of milk. I've just got it in a little bowl here. And then to make buttermilk, I'm going to use apple cider vinegar, and I'm just going to put a splash. I want you to be able to see this, okay? So here's the milk, okay? I don't know if you're going to be able to notice a difference. We're just going to put like a splash of apple cider vinegar in there, and we're just going to give it a little whisk, okay? And this actually kind of curdles the milk and makes it thicker. It turns it into a buttermilk. So you're just going to let that sit for a minute. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see. It is kind of curdled now. I don't know if you can see that or not. But it's buttermilk now. So now they want us to take our flour and whisk it into the milk. So 3 tablespoons of flour. So we're just going to do it one at a time. This is just all-purpose flour. So here's 1. So basically this is making like a thickening agent, or a roux, if you will. This is just going to help to thicken the soup. I like to do it just 1 tablespoon at a time because that helps to reduce the lumps. You probably will still get a few lumps, but that should cook out as you put it in the hot soup. There's 2. I love making soups. I don't do it as often as I should. I should do it a lot more. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 more of the flour. I also need to try more recipes. I kind of stick to the ones I do. I do a dill pickle soup. I do a cabbage soup. What else do I make for soup? Those are the 2 kind of my go-tos, cabbage soup and dill pickle. Okay, so we've got our flour in there, all whisked up. Let's just check our ingredients here. Directions. Just see how we're doing. There's still a lot of liquid in here. I'm just going to let it simmer for a little longer. I want to get rid of some more of that. So once this reduces a little bit more, we're going to put the milk mixture into the soup and kind of stir it in and cook it, stirring it occasionally until the soup begins to thicken. It's going to be about another 10 minutes for it to thicken. And then we're going to stir in some sour cream, lemon juice, and then that's it. So let's give it a minute. We'll come back once this is reduced a little bit further, and we'll put in our thickening agent, and we'll go from there. See you guys soon. Okay, guys, we're back. The soup has reduced down a little bit more. Let me show you what it looks like. It looks yummy. It looks good just the way it is, if I'm being honest, but that's fine. So now we're going to take this flour mixture with the milk, and we're going to slowly pour it in and whisk it and continue to cook. We want to continue to cook it because we want to get rid of that raw flour kind of taste. So by cooking it, it's going to get rid of that raw flour taste. And it says it needs about another 10 minutes to start thickening up. It's probably going to be a lot less than that though. My experience with this stuff is it tends to thicken pretty quick. So it's got a beautiful color now to it, very similar to what you would normally see for a mushroom soup. You know, it's got that really nice kind of light brown color. So we're just going to let that thicken for a little bit. And then once that has begun to thicken and that raw flour taste cooks out, we are going to, over the low heat, we're still on low, we're going to slowly stir in about a 1/4 cup of sour cream and a tablespoon of lemon juice. Okay. And then once that is all mixed in, it's time to eat. And I'm excited because it smells amazing and I'm so hungry. Now it says that it gives you 5 cups of soup. It might give us a little bit more because we did add in, I think, more mushrooms than they had said. But I'm excited. So let's just let that cook a little bit longer. And then we're going to put in a 1/4 cup sour cream and a tablespoon of lemon juice. I'm actually going to add a little pepper. I like pepper. So let me add in some pepper. I'm a big fan of pepper. Oh, it smells so good. It smells really good. And you guys, honestly, this is pretty simple. This is a pretty simple recipe. Like, there wasn't anything crazy. Let me rinse this bowl. It smells so good. I wish you guys could smell it. Okay, so while that's cooking down, we're going to get our 1/4 cup of sour cream ready. I'm pretty sure that this just kind of gives us a little bit extra creaminess and a little bit of that extra fat in there. Oh, I'm so hungry. Cook quicker. Oh. Okay, I think it's starting to thicken up here now. Yum. And obviously, the longer this sits, probably the more it's going to thicken. Same with like tomorrow or whatever. If you're not eating it all today, it'll probably thicken up, you know, even in the fridge and stuff overnight. If you find your soup thickens too much, like if you're heating it up the next day and it's too much, just add more broth as you cook it. Put it in a saucepan with a little extra broth, and that will help it to be thinner without diluting the taste. Okay, now I know it says a tablespoon of lemon juice. That seems like a lot. Do you think that's a lot? I mean, I don't want to change the recipe. If they say a tablespoon, then we should do a tablespoon, right? Okay. That is what it said, right? A tablespoon? Yeah, a tablespoon. Now, again, it's supposed to be fresh lemon. I don't have fresh lemon today. So we're just going to do the good old lemon in here. And our 1/4 cup of sour cream. Get all the yumminess out. Okay. sour cream on my shirt, but that's okay. We're just going to mix that in until it's nice and all incorporated. Yum. Oh, you guys, it smells so good. Okay. Just gonna let that sit for a minute while I put some of this away. Let's get our bowl. Let's get our ladle. One more little stir here, but I think it's good. Oh my gosh, this looks so good, you guys. It looks so good. Just clean edge here. And then you can put some parsley flakes. I'm out of parsley. I was going to put parsley flake. You guys, I'm out. It's fine. We don't need parsley. It's fine. Who needs parsley? It's fine. Not a big deal. Here's our soup. You guys. Oh my gosh. It looks so good. Let me get a spoon. Let me get a spoon. Gotta taste it. I'm curious to see that lemon juice. That scares me a bit. Okay. It smells really good. Okay. I'm just going to do the broth. I'm just going to try the broth. That's really good. I do get the lemon, but it's not crazy in your face. It just brightens it up a bit. Mmm. Mmm. It's good. I do think it needs a little more salt. Mmm. 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 I'm just going to put a little more salt in there. It's pretty good. It's not the best mushroom soup I've had. It's definitely not the worst. I've had some pretty bad mushroom soups. This one's pretty yummy. Ooh, I like it. I think the dill would have definitely been great if I had the dill. And I also think the dry white wine would have added to it. I think it would have just elevated the flavors. So right now I'm giving this soup a 7.5 out of 10. I think if I had the dill and the white wine, it might bring it up to an 8.5, maybe a 9. It's pretty good. So that's it for your Try It Thursday. Thank you guys so much for watching me make Hungarian mushroom soup. We will post the recipe in the description box if you guys want to try it out for yourselves. We'll see you next time. Bye.